plaintiff, Erica Hoyt, says when she started dating the defendant, she was only 15. But she lied and told him she was 18. Erica claims they had 2 children, but the defendant requested a DNA test for both of them. And both tests proved he was their biological father. She's suing because the defendant is over $17,000 behind in child support. Defendant Tremel Wright says from the start, Erica was deceptive, and he could have done serious jail time for statutory rape because she lied about her age. Tremel claims 9 years ago, Erica fled the state with his kids, and he hasn't seen them since. So he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I met Mr. Wright back in 2001. I was 15 years old. It was shortly after the murder of my father, so it was a very traumatic time in my life. I met Mr. Wright in a teen nightclub at that time. I lied to Mr. Wright and told him I was 18, which in fact I was only 15. After about 4 months of knowing Mr. Wright, I finally told him the truth. At that point in time, Mr. Wright told me that it didn't matter because he was in love at that point in time. During the course of our 4-year relationship, we have had, sir, Your Honor, 2 children. The first one was had in 2002, which at that time I was 16 years old.
Were you all living in the same household with the children?
Oh, yes, sir. Off and on. I stayed with some of his family members during the course of the relationship. Yes, sir.
So you had the second child?
Yes. In 2004, I started receiving child support in 2005 for the first child. We had to do a DNA for the second child in October of 2005. During the course of the relationship, it was very toxic. There was fighting, arguing, stealing, a number of things, Your Honor. We officially split in 2005 toward the end of November. In 2006 is when we did we received the DNA for our second child, which of course he was the father. At that point, they ordered a second child support order of $250 a month, $127 for each child.
Okay, before you get further into the child support you're suing him about, let me allow him to give some background. Sir?
From day one, Erica Hoyt was very deceptive and deceiving. She was 15 years old. She lied about her age to me. It wasn't until a year after that when she actually told me how old she really was. My grandmother got custody of Erica Hoyt due to the fact of her father being murdered and her mother didn't have a healthy home environment for her to live. So Erica Hoyt was amended or emancipated to my grandmother, if that's the correct word. I could have went to jail for 40 years for the lie that she told me to begin with.
40?
Well, it was statutory rape.
And 40 years in your state?
Well, it was, as far as I know, it was 40 years, yeah. So
okay, counselor, go ahead. What?
That's right, Your Honor. That's right.
What's right?
The Mr. Wright believes that he knows everything. I was never put into his grandmother's custody.
Not 40 years. Go ahead.
She took my kids, and I haven't seen them for 9 years.
When was that?
She left in August of 2006. August of 2006, I called her for the weekend, like I usually do, to give visitations to see my kids, come pick them up. Erica Hoyt did not return any call or text.
All right, is that your counterclaim for emotional distress? Is that what that's for? The testimony you're making about denying you opportunity to see your kids? You're not sure? All right, let's hear about the child support.
I'm sorry, to go back and kind of touch on what he touched on. I've always been on my own, sir, since I was 15 years old. Yes, my mother had some drug issues. My father had passed away. I've been working since I was 13. I've always been on my own. Nobody's ever had custody of me other than my parents, Your Honor. As far as the children, or for the second child, Mr. Wright had another woman pregnant at the same time, and she was also having a boy, which our second child would have been a boy as well, Your Honor. He was doing dirt or was seeing someone else. It was never a matter of me being faithful to Mr. Wright. Like he stated, yes, sir, that is correct. I moved in 2006 because I wanted to give my children a better life. Towards the course of our relationship, Mr. Wright and I have fought. He also slapped me in front of my sister and in front of the children several times. We fought. It was a very toxic.
Did you get him arrested any of those
No, sir.
times?
I've
Why
never.
not?
At that point in my life, sir, I was young and I just kind of endured it, and
Several times in front of the kids,
yes, sir.
all of that.
And that's why I left in 2006. I had to get myself together, and when I was done and was ready to be through with the situation, I moved on to give my children a better life. I had nowhere else to go, sir. I was homeless. He wasn't helping my situation.
Okay, so you moved to get out of that situation.
Yes, sir, I did.
All right.
I had a nervous breakdown prior to me leaving, and I had to go. Yes, sir. I left the whole home. I went to the Sojourner Truth House. I lost everything, Your Honor, and in order to save myself and to save my kids, I had to go.
And that's why you denied
And Mr.
him.
Wright knew about that. I took my kids to see his family before I left, and he didn't show up to see his kids.
Sir, you want to say anything about this?
Erica Hoyt left the state without notifying me or notifying the court like she should have.
Were you being abusive, physically abusive toward her?
We both were physically abusive towards
Okay,
each
so
other.
that's a yes. All right. Did you know she went and stayed in a shelter
No.
for abused women?
She didn't. No, I did not.
Okay.
And he also did know that his family members seen the kids prior to us leaving.
No, I did not.
All right.
They didn't see him.
So you're way out of the loop.
Exactly,
Right,
Your Honor.
Go ahead,
That is
ma'am.
so very true.
Right. If you don't know anything about mama, you don't know anything about them.
Mr. Wright, just to give
Because
a
they
How
lived
can I
with mama,
find-
didn't they?
She lived with me and my family.
Right. So
She
you
ran-
really should have known what was happening with her.
if I was there. Yes, Your
ran
Honor.
Yeah.
from
Yes.
us.
What? Yes, she ran from you, she
Yes,
said.
yes,
she said
Your
she
Honor.
ran from you because you were whooping on her.
I-
She had to go
I
to
was
an
not
abused
whooping
shelter.
her.
Let's get to this child support.
Yes,
How
sir.
about that?
Yes, sir.
You better,
I'm-
let's see that.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
see that. What do you owe? What do you owe? Let's talk about
Yes,
that.
yes,
What do you
sir.
owe?
Yes, sir.
Big
He
fella?
hasn't
What
seen
do
his
you
kids
owe?
in 9 years. He owes $17,954.69. He's never put forth
What
in.
you got
I'm
to
sorry,
say
Your
about
Honor.
that?
I don't feel that I should pay.
Why don't you?
Due to the fact that she left the state without letting me know anything.
That's not a defense. Did you tell child support court
Yes,
that?
I did.
And what they say?
have
They gave you that bill, didn't they? They say pay it.
I have documentation showing.
They
when
say
she
you don't have
actually
to pay.
sold her
That
address.
says you don't have to pay.
No, I never said I
well,
didn't
I know.
have to pay,
You said you
but I
did
feel
say
like
you
I
don't
don't.
feel you have to pay.
I said
you
I
just said
feel.
it. You said I don't feel I have to pay
Right.
because you left the state.
Right.
I said, did you tell child support that? And you said yes.
Yeah, I told
and
them
what
that.
did they tell you?
I still needed to pay.
Thank you, or you're going to jail. And I'm telling you the same thing. Ma'am, I'm going to ask that they arrange a partial payment for you and credit it to his child support, but not release him from child support
Yes,
because
sir.
he needs to go to jail.
Mr. Mathis,
He needs to
Mr.
go
Mathis,
to jail.
He sent me paperwork. He sent me paperwork back in 2012 where he was asking me to cancel out all rearages. At that time, because I wouldn't work with him, Mr. Wright stated to me 3 days before Mother's Day he wasn't going to pay me anything.
All right,
he told
good
child
enough.
support he
I don't
wasn't
want to hear
working.
anymore.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And sir, I asked you earlier, was that part of your emotional distress when you were talking about her keeping you from the kids? And you just looked at me. And I said, oh, I guess not. So once again, I guess not. Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Step up, be a man, pay that money, pay that money. At the end of the day, they don't need nothing. We don't need
have-
your money.
you have a
But
nice life.
My kids won't.
You have
They
a nice
won't.
life.
They want
It's
stuff.
done, it's
They
over
don't
with.
need anything.
Okay.
They're not in the need for anything. I
You
don't
have a
need
nice
your money.
life,
When
right?
it's all said and done, they want
I see
everything.
you in
So if
Milwaukee
you're not going to
court.
step
Have a
up
good
and
day.
spend the time, pay the fine.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Don't
much.
let anybody.
The least you can do there is be there financially for them because they need you in some type of way. And when it's all said and done, I'm not keeping your kids from you. They're here and I want you to see them if you'd like to. Yeah, want to say hi to your dad?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, baby. You okay? Yeah.
Your kids are hurting. They're hurting. They watch you on Facebook with your other kids.
And
At
that's
the
why
end of
you
the day,
here. I understand that. But
Tramel,
the only thing I
all
want
it
to
takes
ask
is
you.
communication.
Okay, hold on, listen.
That's
The
it.
communication should have started the day you moved away.
Tramel, I've been communicating with you. And at the end of the day, you don't have to
We don't have to
communicate
talk
with me
about
because
this
you
right
can talk
now.
to your
We don't have to talk
children.
about this right
There you
now.
go. That's perfectly fine. You go ahead.
Plaintiff April Judd moved in with the defendant after they started dating, and she claims that's when he became physically abusive. April says the defendant assaulted her in front of her son and even choked her until she passed out. April is suing her ex for unreturned property and emotional distress. Defendant Justin Martinet says April is a drug addict who sells her son's medication, and she's the one who went to jail for abusing Justin. Justin's countersuing for damaged property and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, me and Mr. Martinet met in June. We moved in together in roughly the middle of June. July 23rd, me and him got into an altercation. I woke up and he was standing on top of the bed screaming at me.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Let her finish. Go ahead.
Okay, so the altercation got a little worse.
Did you know what it was about?
Oh yeah. I was asleep and I was sweating, and he had a problem with me being asleep and sweating. So he was yelling at me. Okay. So then the
How'd
police.
that end?
It didn't end very well, sir.
Tell me.
He took me and my disabled son and he put us outside and locked the door.
And to your understanding, it's all because you were sweating while you
That's
were
what the
asleep.
fight was started over, yes.
Okay, and it got so heated, he put you and your son out immediately, you're saying?
No, we were arguing for a little bit, and he
What day did he put you all out?
he actually physically grabbed me. I have evidence of bruising and things like that.
What date was that?
It was July 23rd.
Oh, the same day? That's what I was saying. He
yes,
put
sir.
you all out
Yes,
the
sir.
same day?
It was the same day.
Okay.
He put us outside. My son was crying at the door wanting his shoes and his phone, and me the same thing. I wanted my shoes and my phone. I had just woken up out of bed. I didn't have anything. The police come. They see defensive wounds on him, which are scratch marks across his chest. They put me in jail. August 1st, he bonds me out of jail. He was there with my best friend twice a week, telling me that he's not going to hit me again, telling me that things are going to be different when I get out. He took my son's disability money on August 1st and bonded me out of jail. So August 13th, we have another altercation. My son is outside screaming that Justin was choking me. Someone in the neighborhood calls the police, and the police come. Justin's outside saying that I'm not even there, because I'm unconscious in the kitchen from being choked, okay? The police come, they put him in jail for lying to the cops and saying that I wasn't there, because my son was outside telling the cops everything. They also put me in jail for breaking a bond, which was me. I wasn't supposed to be around him.
Well, you had a restraining order?
Yes, he bonded me out. He took me home. He wouldn't let my best friend come and see me because I had bruises all over me.
Your Honor,
Now, hold on, I'll let you give your entire defense. So, July 23rd, jailed. August 1st, he bailed you out. All right, and then on August 13th, you say he was choking you, and
I have video evidence
and he
of my
lied.
son.
Okay, and then he lied to the police, saying that you weren't there. So both of you all, in essence, were violating the restraining order. Okay, good enough. We got that out of the way, sir. Let me allow you to give some background here.
yes, sir. I had no restraining order on me. It was her versus me. She's not supposed to be anywhere near my property.
Then why
Her
did you
son
bond me
had
out?
no place to live, so I allowed her to come back in my home as long as we could try to work something out. I was trying to be peaceful and continue a relationship. She and him, her son was living in his house in a closet.
And we still,
When I met them,
it's not a closet.
and she is a drug addict, Your Honor. She sold her son's Adderall, and
That's not true,
I
Your
didn't know
Honor.
all that until I allowed them to come into my home. Once I seen the conditions of how they were living before,
You
and
stole $1,200
all
from
I
my
wanted
son.
to do,
Let him finish.
all I wanted to do was, eventually have a family and, just, be a good human. And obviously
family
that was the
beat up.
worst mistake I ever had in my life, was even meeting this woman.
What were you all falling out about? and fighting?
Well, I was the only one bringing in income other than whatever disability check that she went to go party on, pretty much, not to pay bills or to do anything.
Her son's disability.
Yes, sir. Not to actually give him any money for him. The only witnesses I've ever had of her having that money is to party.
Let me
with.
ask about these incidents. She says you got on her because she was sleeping and sweating while she sleeps. Therefore,
Yes, sir,
you all had an altercation and you put her and her son out. Did that happen?
Once
And the police
I have all
came
the
and
police
you-
reports right here, and my roommate
Just
was.
tell me, did that happen?
No, I did put her out, yes, sir. But that's once she started swinging on me like a full-grown man.
Why did you wake her up? Was
I
it
did-
as she described what happened?
No, sir. We were both talking and sleeping nice and peaceful. I don't know what she's talking about. I wasn't.
And then
standing
what
on the bed.
happened when you were sleeping peacefully? It went from sleeping peacefully to putting them out. So
Once
why you put her out?
because when you any male versus female,
How did it start?
I don't know. She
Give
just
me
went
the
off.
birds and the bees. What?
One minute she's saying she was sweating, but she can't. She has to have cover on her. I'm like, I got the AC blaring. If you're sweating, let's move
Somebody
the
goes to
covers.
jail for that.
Yes, sir. Hurt.
All right. You bail her out August 1st. And then August 13th, she says you were choking her. And when the police came, you lied about her being there. Why did you tell the police she wasn't there? if you
Because
did?
she's the one that isn't supposed to be around my property, and I have all the
I
police
got
reports.
you. What did you tell the police? Did you say she's here or not?
No, sir. I did say that she wasn't here to try to protect her.
All right,
She
so you
wasn't-
lied to the police. Let's move on now.
But she was safe. She wasn't unconscious. I have the reports right here of the officers.
The question is, did you all both violate the protection order on that day? The answer is yes.
Yes.
And unreturned property, what is that, ma'am?
I have my bed, my son's TV, my son's audiobooks. My son is legally blind. He needs audiobooks. This man will not give my son's things back. He took 2 pairs of my son's glasses. There are things that my baby had when he was a
Did
baby.
you try and get them back?
My dad's went over there twice to try to get them back. He's tried to get them back.
And what happened?
I've got some text messages here saying that I will never see my things again, and in a little bit, my things won't matter.
Let's see them. Let's see the text messages.
Also, I also have pictures of me the day that I got out of jail. They have dates on them.
I will address this choking that you say your son observed. And
There's a video.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Whoever's watching this, I have something to tell y'all. Oh, I've been having some horrible things that been going on with this guy who I used to be living with. So now, I'm living with my papa, and after that, Justin grabbed my mom by the neck, and he slammed her down. And then next, he pushed us out the door. He tried to push us out the door, but I went past him, and I ran straight to my room and I locked the door.
All right. Did you give that to the police?
No, they haven't seen that, sir.
Why didn't you give it to them? You would certainly have been prosecuted.
This was just recorded a few days ago.
Why didn't you record it then?
I have the police report where it does say that
your son told them
my
that?
son, yes, sir.
Your son said he saw
Told
him
to-
choking you.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's what I need. Someone having April Jill was allowed. Child stated Mr. Justin grabbed Miss by the neck and threw her to the ground. All right. Sir, you want to respond to that?
Yes, sir. I have all the police reports right here, and every single time the officers
Talking about this one in particular.
I have
That's
all
we're
of them.
talking about.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about this one in particular. I've heard you. I have all of them. I don't want all of them. I want this, or you to address this, where the son, her child, says he saw you. He told the police that.
Yes, sir.
So address that incident.
I can tell you right now that I am against any man putting their hands on a female.
Good
I
enough.
want you to say, I have
right.
more evidence, sir.
What is that?
This is evidence of the day that I got out of jail.
What is it saying? 'Cause he the one
when
got you
he
out.
beat me up. Those are bruises
After
on-
bailing you out, he beat you up.
before bailing me out.
Before bailing you out.
On the 23rd, those are the bruises that were from me on the 23rd.
And this is what you went to jail for.
That's what I went
Right.
to jail for.
That's not what we're discussing right
I
now,
understand.
man.
I know. I'm just trying to prove the case of
Man,
me
prove
being
it by
beat up.
discussing what we're discussing. All right, sir. And her property. What do you say to that?
Yes, sir. Aaron here has actually made 3 trips to my home. 2 I have on police record.
Do you have any texts where you acknowledge that he or a family member came to get her property?
Yes, I have it actually on my cell phone. He actually.
And your cell phone's not here, right?
No, it's in my pocket. I
All
have
right,
all
let's
that
read it.
information.
Let's read it. Read it.
I actually know
you
it.
just said you reached in your pocket and said
feel-
you had it.
I feel these
Judgment
things
for
in
the
my
plaintiff. Your claim is
Thank
dismissed.
you,
Have a good
sir.
day. Come on. Come on, Liz. Come on. All right, here.
Stop hitting women, loser.
There's no proof of that.
Because you beat me up and you
Beat
stole
you up.
my son's things. You're a loser and
Why
liar.
Plaintiff Anna Frank started dating the defendant after they met online. And 3 months into the relationship, he told her he was married. Anna's suing her ex for an unpaid loan and interest. Defendant Chad Verzella says things with Anna got hot and heavy really quickly. But she was a sex fiend, and he couldn't fulfill her needs. Chad insists the money from Anna was a gift.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay. I met Chad early January. We met on an online dating site. We hit it off right away. It seems like things were going really well. And then a few months later, he admitted to me that he was married still.
No, that was not a few months later.
It was a few
It
months
was
later.
on our 3rd date, Your Honor.
No, it wasn't. And
Were you all spending nights together overnight?
yes, we were. We were.
How often?
He came over quite often.
Overnight?
He wouldn't spend the entire night, but he would
That's what I
spend
said, overnight.
Yeah,
And
not
so
overnight.
Next 3rd shift, it'd be impossible for me to stay overnight.
on my nights off. He would come and he would leave like around 1 in the morning. or-
Okay. Go ahead.
And we only went out maybe.
Did you ever
once-
ask him to stay overnight?
I did, yes.
What did he tell you?
He, the one time I remember is that he said his son was sick and he needed to get home because
All right. Did you ask him another time?
it was hard for me to, get him to stay over. It was always just quick visits because I did work 3rd shift and so there weren't a lot of time.
Quick visits.
He would come over for a couple of hours.
Oh, y'all wouldn't have no relationship. Y'all had a booty call.
No, it was.
Now, what are you talking about? All y'all did was stop by and for a couple of hours.
Well, and he.
Relationship, you go to dinner sometime, you go to a movie, you
bring
spend
dinner.
quality time on the
And we
weekends.
did, sir. We went out plenty of times.
Yes, we
All
did go
right.
out. It was hard because I had kids and he had a son.
Okay, at least you all did go out some. You portrayed it as just he stopped in a couple hours every blue moon.
I mean, it
do
was
his business and go
the
home.
time between
Let
when
me
my
hear
kids
from
were
you.
there.
You give me some background. sir.
So, yeah, we met on a dating site. It did get hot and heavy pretty quick. On our 3rd date, not months later, I did let Anna know that I was married, separated from my wife. She was fine with that. We went on with
Did he say he was separated when he told you?
No, he told me they were separated but living together.
Okay, go ahead.
So I told her that we were married, and she, being what she does for a living, she has access to a lot of information just with someone's name. And when I told her, she didn't act that surprised. I think she already knew that I was married. So we moved on with the relationship. We moved forward. Things got hot and heavy. I couldn't give her the attention that she wanted, especially in the bedroom. And so things went downhill from there. She, 2 months after me
Why do
getting,
you say you couldn't give her attention in the
I
bedroom?
couldn't come over every night and spend the night. I couldn't.
Okay,
I have a
got
son.
it.
I was taking care of business. I own a business. I had other things I had to take care of other than her needs in the bedroom.
She's a sex fiend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He said you're a sex fiend, man.
Okay. That's not true. Well, I don't, if he thinks so, sure.
Were you calling him every night begging for sex?
No.
You oh, you weren't?
No, I wasn't.
How often?
No, I wanted us to go out on dates. He would come over
How
just for a
often
couple.
were you calling him about sex?
About sex?
Yes.
I asked him to just come over.
No, he said you wanted sex when you were calling him. How often?
Not very. Few times, maybe.
You sound like a crackhead that don't want to admit they smoke crack. Go ahead.
she works for a-
sex fiend.
she works for a-
Sound just like them crackheads.
Works for a
Go
local
ahead.
police department where they talk in codes. She would send me codes, 10 codes, to make come over and have sex with her.
And that's what crack dealers do. They send a message in code to the drug dealer. Could you drop me off a white T-shirt, such and such, and a plate of collard greens? That's how she talk. That's weed and cocaine. A white T-shirt and collard greens. All right. Talked in code about your thing, huh? You addicted. Go ahead.
So when I couldn't fulfill her needs, things started to go downhill. And 2 days after I got the Dear John text message, she was with her ex-boyfriend prior to me. Once she learned that my wife and I were reconciling things, then there we are.
Well, there you go. That's what she's supposed to do when you telling you reconciling. But I don't know if that guy was on hold 2 days just all of a sudden.
Well, I have a gut feeling that he was on hold the whole time.
No.
All right, ma'am. Let me hear about the loan. Tell me, explain how much and when he was to repay and what happened.
So I have text messages. He needed $2,500. And I don't have the money. I'm a single parent. You know, I said, you know, if you need it that badly, you have no other way of getting it. I would take out a loan because at the time he told me his personal and business accounts were frozen and he had the money, but he couldn't get access to it. So he said he would pay me back even before the first payment was due for the loan. And I have text messages to show that.
Let's see it. And how did it go from $2,500 to $4,100?
The interest on it, because it was a high interest loan.
What was the time frame?
It's
1 year?
It
How long
is.
ago was it? You have some agreement of some sort?
Well, here's the loan information on it. I've been making payments on it every 2 weeks. I don't have the money for it. I've been having to pay everything for it. I've been working extra hours.
She told me that the loan was out of her. She had the money in her savings account. She told me it was a high interest loan. I could have did that myself.
No, you said you could not get access to any loan. I have all those text messages.
Did you pay her anything?
Paid her $100.
Yeah. He constantly came up excuses. I promise you I'm going to give you this much money this day. And then he'd have
Did you tell him he could work it off?
No. I wanted my money
You
back.
didn't try to work it off?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
He constantly had excuses of
About
why.
working it off? He had constant excuses about?
No, he had a ring he was gonna sell to pay me back. He was gonna sell his Hummer to pay me back.
What's your defense?
Sir, my defense is when Anna offered me the loan, I didn't ask her for it. She offered it to me. It was a gift. And it's that simple. It was a gift. We had talked about having a future together.
Why'd you give her $100 back?
I give her $100 back because she was giving me a pity party how, she's a single mom with 2 kids.
She still is.
I have a heart. I was.
Do you still have it?
I do still have it, yes, sir.
Okay. And you're still a single mom with 2 kids. That's the reason you gave her 100. So why won't you give her the other 2,400?
Well, because I feel like it was a gift, and I feel like she turned into a
when
loan.
you felt like that when you gave her the 100?
I did. So
and her circumstances are still the same. So why won't you give her the rest?
Even though I gave her $100, that doesn't mean I feel like it was a loan. I feel like it was a gift.
We're not talking about that. She loaned you 25 or gave you 25. You said, okay, I'll give you 100 because you say you need it. Now she's saying she need 2,400 more.
Well, I didn't know she took a high interest loan out.
Whatever reason you gave her $100, why won't you give her the rest for the same reason?
Because I don't feel like I owe her the money.
Okay, why did you give her 100 then?
Because she texted me with a desperate text message that she needed money.
Did you text him any other time saying you needed all your money?
I texted him multiple times.
Okay, because he responded because you texted him. So let's see, if any of those texts where you said you repay her, then this case is done. Because you just said you didn't owe her, you never agreed to repay her, because it was a gift. So I hope this doesn't say anything about I will repay you. I'm going to do 100 a week, first thing I see. I'm going to do 100 a week for now, okay? One of you get busted. You don't even know you're not a good liar. Nothing slick about you. Stay honest. All right, $2,500. I'm going to grant you 10% interest, ma'am. 10% interest, $250. 20 since he's paid something. That's $2,650, I believe.
Yeah.
$2,650 is your judgment, ma'am. He didn't approve of paying that amount of
He
interest.
did, though.
That was
I have a text message saying it was a high interest loan.
Oh, did you tell him the amount? Did you tell him the exact amount of interest?
I told him that it was at least going to be, at the time he was going to pay me back, it was already going to be close to $3,000.
Did you tell him the interest rate, ma'am?
Not the specific.
Okay, well, if you didn't tell him the interest rate, he couldn't have approved it. Okay. All right, judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I'm glad this is over. I'm done with it all. I'm done with the lies and just want it to be done with.
I feel like the money was a gift, not a loan, and lesson learned.
No.
Plaintiff Kia Sheridan has 2 children with the defendant, and while dating, she suspected he was cheating with their neighbor. Kia claims after she gave birth to their second child, the neighbor turned up pregnant with the defendant's baby. Kia is suing her ex for stolen money. Defendant Cedric Castor says Kia is a great parent, but she's not great at co-parenting. Cedric admits he was unfaithful to Kia, but says he is now single and working on being a better father. Cedric denies owing Kia for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
All right, Your Honor, I met the defendant in 2000. I was young and, in love with him. We ended up having 2 children together. After I had my son in 2005, I noticed that the defendant started hanging out with our neighbor across the hall, a young lady.
Hanging out how?
Oh, well, they would spend a lot of time together. They would drive off together. He would keep her car. He would keep her cell phone.
Regularly?
All the time, Your Honor.
What would you say to him? You would ask?
Well,
could you do
him.
it? Could you use it?
No.
Did you ask?
I did ask, but I
She said no?
Yeah, she said no. She said he was a better driver.
How about a phone?
Well, no, I had my own phone at the time.
He didn't?
He didn't have a phone.
Oh, well, then you wouldn't let the man have a phone. He gonna go to somebody who will.
Yeah. So they kept on, hanging out. I was suspicious. My family, my friends, and my gut told me otherwise, but I was young, and so I perceived the relationship. So after I had my son in 2005, I noticed that the young lady was pregnant. So I asked him if it was his baby.
What would make you ask him that? You haven't even asked him whether they were dating, did you?
I had already asked him if they were dating, and he denied it.
Okay.
But she was pregnant. I had not seen her hang with anybody else.
Got it.
So I asked him. So he denied it. But they have 4 children right now, Your Honor.
Wow.
So my suspicions were confirmed when he brought her cell phone to our apartment. I scrolled through the phone, and I found his mom's telephone number listed as baby's grandmother. So I packed his things up, took him to his mother's house, and we broke up, and that was it. But we have a 14 and a 15-year-old right now, and the defendant is not very active in their lives. He is a self-proclaimed rock star, so he lives a...
Oh, he smoked crack?
No.
What you mean?
Well, his lifestyle is a rock star lifestyle.
Rocks, yeah,
so he lives for fun. He lives for the moment. And
that sounds like a crackhead to me. Rock star? Just live and have fun and stay high. That's not what you're referring to?
Well, that wasn't necessarily what I was referring to, but he hangs out and, he does business ventures and he's always doing important things. So he's not able to hang out with the kids or spend time with them. But now he don't give me no rock star money because I'm paying for uniforms and haircuts and so forth. So,
all right, let me hear from you, sir. Give me some background.
Well, I met Kia when she graduated high school shortly after. We were together maybe 9 or 10 years.
That's not true, Your Honor.
But anyway, we were together about 9 or 10 years.
5.
Let it finish.
She's a great parent, but she sucks at co-parenting. She always
Did you get the next door neighbor pregnant?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, me and the girl next door, we was together for about 16 years after me and Kia. But I'm single now. I'm trying to.
I'm sure you are.
I'm trying to work better on being a better parent. And,
How many children do you have?
I have 6. I'm trying to be a better co-parent. Yes, sir.
Decent job, enough to afford 6 children?
Barely, but it's making it.
Does he pay all of his child support on time?
He does not pay child support at all, Your Honor.
Why?
Well, I never known him to have a job.
Have you filed?
Yes, sir. And I had a judgment for him to pay it, but he never paid it.
You couldn't find him, or is that?
He didn't have a job for him to pay child support, Your Honor.
Well, he said he has one. How long ago did you check? Or how long ago that you filed and find that he did not have a job? How long ago was that?
Well, he didn't have a job the week before last, so.
Okay. Sir, you worked week before last?
I did, sir.
You did?
I did, sir.
All right, so you're up to date on all your child support. That's what you're
I'm
telling
not
me.
on child support, sir.
Pardon me?
I'm not on child support.
What do you mean on it?
I'm not on child support.
Oh, you don't have to pay child support?
I'm not. That's not wasn't ordered by a judge. No, sir.
Oh, you got to be ordered in order to take care of your kids.
To pay child support.
Okay. No, you don't. You just give the mother of the children the money, or you give it through the court. Nobody should have to order you. They didn't order you to have sex with your neighbor and get your neighbor pregnant in the same apartment as your woman and the other children. They didn't order you to have all these other children that you can't take care of because you haven't worked. They didn't order you that. Mm-hmm. So why they gotta order you to pay for all these children you've produced? That's what you need, you're ordered now. Does that work for you? How much you got on you?
How much I need?
What you got? Go ahead, sir.
I do take care of my kids.
Yeah, I got you. I know that. We went over that before.
Okay.
Remember, you got to be ordered to take care of yours, and no one has ordered you. Move on. What else?
But anyway, I believe it was September, August of last year. I was in a car accident with.
That's what you're suing about?
Yes, sir.
Let me hear about that.
All right, so September 2018, the defendant and my children were in a car accident. Everybody was fine, but they had to go to do some physical therapy. Cedric was not at fault, so he made a lawsuit on behalf of himself and the children for the person that was at fault, and he was awarded a judgment. Each child was issued a check, and the defendant promised me, being as though I'm the custodial parent, that if he got money, he would give it to me because I would know what to do best with it. Well, a couple months went by, and I started noticing that he was looking like a rock star. He had all the Jordans, all the caps, all the Adidas outfits, Your Honor. And my children didn't have nothing. So I called him. He said he did not get the money. So I was a little suspicious, and I called the attorney's office. The attorney told me that my daughter received a judgment for $1,561.68, and my son $1,021.68. Your Honor, I have those.
See it, please. When you mentioned that to him, what has he said?
Well, he continued to deny it, and then he said, well, I'll give him some money. I'm still waiting, Your Honor.
Sir, what do you say? So
No,
far, not
I
only
didn't.
do you not pay child support, she's saying you steal your children's money. Not only do you not pay for your children, you steal from them when they do get some money. What do you have to say, sir?
Well, the money wasn't stolen.
What happened to it?
It was in my name. I still got it. I feel like if I'm their father and I wasn't ordered by a court, I can spend the
There
money
you
on
go with
them.
that order again.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you, sir. You have no ability to spend any money that they receive.
Why not?
Zero, because you don't have
I'm the
custody.
father.
I'm just telling you the law, sir. You can think what you want. Like you think you don't have to pay child support until you're ordered. Keep thinking that. You'll get that order. You'll get the back payments that you owe. And if you don't pay it within 90 days, I'm going to recommend that judge lock you up. Now grin that off. Yeah, I know you think it's funny. Still funny. See, I knew knew I was right. I know a crackhead when I see him. He stole from his own child. You ain't gonna smoke this up, though. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,683. Have a good day.
I'm just glad that we got this past us and that I won the judgment. I hope in the future that Mr. Castor and the children can have a better relationship.
Happy you won your case.
Thank you.
Plaintiff Thomas Schmidt and his girlfriend Paige Gilman say Thomas dated the defendant for 6 years, and throughout their relationship, she was physically abusive. Thomas claims after the defendant found out he and Paige were dating, she snapped and attacked him. And he's suing his ex today for unreturned property, a bill, and pain and suffering. Defendant Serena Capel says Thomas asked her to marry him, and she thought they were going to spend the rest of their lives together. Until he cheated with his witness, who used to be Serena's best friend.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I've known the defendant, Your Honor, for 6 years. She is my ex-girlfriend. We've had a history of her beating me up mentally and physically for the whole past 6 years, Your Honor.
Give me some examples.
December of 2015, there was an incident where she was arrested for beating me up. I got the incident.
What was the result? Did you press charges?
Yes, I actually got where she was jailed right here, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss Paige Gilman was present on that. It was because Miss Capel found out.
Who's Paige Gilman?
My witness. Serena Capel found out that me and Miss Gilman were dating at that time, and Serena snapped, and she attacked me.
Okay.
And she was.
Was she convicted?
Yes.
Give me another example. Because you painted a picture that she's always abusive to you.
When I was on the phone with my father, Your Honor, he could hear her slapping me on the phone.
No.
There's multiple witnesses on that, but
what do you think her deal was or is? Anger issues?
Sometimes she would be angry, sometimes she wouldn't. She's not always like that, so it's a hit and a miss.
All right, give me some background on the relationship.
Like you said, we were together for about 6 years. During that time, we had good and bad times, like any relationship does. In August of 2015, he did ask me to marry him, and I really did thought that I would spend the rest of my life with him.
That's a lie.
I loved him.
And
I really did.
after 6 years, you would kind of assume that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In October of that same year, I suspected him of cheating with my best friend.
After he had proposed and you all became engaged 2 months later, what made you suspect that?
Well, she's over there. She would not leave.
What do you mean, would not leave where?
She had to seem to be around all the time, stay the night at the house, go everywhere.
The two of you went?
We broke up.
We wouldn't even be together. He wouldn't let me go.
Oh, we're saying in October. You said you all became engaged in August and broke up in October.
That's a lie.
No, we didn't break up till December of 2015.
Okay. And you mentioned it in the context of her. That's why I'm asking you. What did you see to make you believe that they were dating within months of him asking you to marry him?
Because I wasn't allowed to go if they wanted to go somewhere. He started saying how he had to go pick up our son from daycare. And I have a daughter myself.
You were told you couldn't go?
Yes.
Did you ask why?
Yeah.
And what would he say?
There was no answer. Just because. Or there was no room for
Did
me.
you ever find clear and convincing evidence that they were dating?
Not right away, no.
But they are now?
They are now.
How,
They have
since
been.
when?
Since December of 2015.
When did you all begin dating?
January of 2016, Your Honor.
Okay, so like 6 months after you proposed to her. No, I'm sorry, 4 months. What is that? August, September, October, December, 5 months. All right, I got it now. What are you suing her for, sir?
The $2,200 electric bill that she had still in my name.
Tell me how you all broke up. I didn't even know you all were living together. So why don't you tell me how much she was to pay per month for the energy bill?
She was supposed to pay the whole Alliant Energy bill.
Every month?
No, because I wasn't living.
Every month?
No.
So you weren't living there at all?
No, I was paying rent, Your Honor.
So you were living there?
Yes, I was paying rent. She was paying the electric bill. And
Every month? That was her duty? And your duty was the all right. And how many months did she fall behind?
Well, this is from when I moved out, Your Honor.
No, when you were living together, she wasn't behind?
No, she was not.
All right. You all broke up when?
I got
December?
kicked out. I got kicked out in December.
And you kept the lights in your name?
Yes.
Okay. And so when did you discover you had this bill remaining?
Actually, they didn't send it to me until August.
And you have it with you?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let's see it. What property did she take or fail to return?
She took all my tools. I got a list of everything here.
Tell me how that occurred.
In December 29th of 2015, Your Honor, I was escorted off the property. The cops gave me a couple hours to get off the property. So I could only take a select few things.
Okay.
I took all my clothes, pretty much. I left all my tools. I left my dog. And the $1,500 worth of tools I left behind.
Did you ever come back and try and get them?
I couldn't because she had a temporary restraining order on me.
Let's see that. All right, ma'am, what do you say to this?
I do not owe anything on the electric bill. And when we were
Did you stay there beyond January 16?
I did not get back there until towards the end of January 16 because, like you said, yes, I served him with
And how long did you stay?
I'm there to this day.
You're still there?
Yes, I switched
All right,
it over.
so shouldn't you pay the energy bill?
No, I have it all in my name. I have now proof. I have for
And you've been staying
almost 2
there how
years.
long?
Since January of 2016.
Okay, and what do you have? You have the bill that you've been paying?
And shows previous usage.
No, I need previous payment because so far what I see here is that you owe $85.
My bill's a little behind, Your Honor, myself.
And Your Honor, for the record, we did go ahead and pay that bill.
I paid the $22.50.
We did already.
And this is October, ma'am.
Yes, and when he was living with me, I
And
paid
this
all the
bill goes up until October. This ends in August, and you've shown me evidence of October for $85. So it sounds like somebody was paying that bill from January through August, and it comports with what they say, that you stopped and now you have it in your name, and then you have evidence that you've paid it. What do you say about his property?
His dad and his friend came and picked it up, and I do have witness statements from people that were there that
witness
night.
statements. You describe when it happened, how long after he moved. Give me the scenario.
January, February of 2016.
So he waited until February to try and get his things?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and what were the circumstances regarding that? He called you or what?
No, his dad contacted
He had
me.
the restraining order on him. His dad contacted you and said what?
He asked if he could get his belongings. I said, yes, just let me know when, what time. And I said, the shed is locked because I didn't want anyone to take anything. It didn't belong to me. It's not mine. Your Honor, he didn't leave in December of 2015.
He had to. Because he got a restraining order. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
They lie, they can get away with anything. It's fine, it's whatever, as long as they will leave me alone after this.
Yeah, the judge did a great job.
I'm very pleased.
I'm very pleased with
She's
Judge
a
Mathis.
very vindictive person, and
I'm glad
I'm
he
happy
saw
it worked
her
in
for
our
what he
favor.
was.